For today's show, we are taking a look at PFF's top 2025 NFL QB prospects based on their draft board. 11 players in total. So I'll mention many of the overall rankings, but at a certain point, it just kind of doesn't make a lot of sense anymore. First up is Carson Beck. That is PFF's number one QB in the way too early rankings out of Georgia. Listed at 6'4", 220. He's 21 and a half years old. Checks off the size, all that good stuff right there. He did play very well for Georgia. 72.4% completion percentage, nearly 4,000 yards, 24 TDs, 6 INTs. If the draft was today, which it's not, and that matters because this list is going to change a lot in a down quarterback class, I think Carson Beck would be the first quarterback taken. Had he been in this year's class, I don't know if he would have been a first-round pick. Maybe it would have been a scenario where if Beck was also in there, he and Bo Nix last a little bit longer because the gap feels different, or maybe not. And maybe teams get anxious and looking ahead to next year's class and they still go super early. Things to work on, absolutely, but promise from a first year as a starter for Carson. Remember, he did beat out Brock Vandagriff, who was the more hyped recruit for the Bulldogs. Who do you think will end up being quarterback one for the 2024 NFL Draft? Go ahead and sound off. Where else but the comment section of today's show. All right, number 2 is Shedeur Sanders. Beck was ranked number 11 overall on PFF's board. Sanders is 13. Not quite as big, 6'2", 215. I think does offer some good mobility. I think the general accuracy is very good. The big thing Sanders has to improve on to be a surefire number one, pick. Beyond fair or not, seems like when quarterbacks win games more often than not. I want to see him do a better job attacking the middle of the field, attacking deep downfield, and handling pressure. Sanders isn't the best right now, and he tends to create his own pressure as well. That is an issue. If the last name Sanders makes him a lightning rod for extra focus, he is not a top 5 lock like ESPN's Mel Kiper may have proclaimed him to be, but he could go top 5, especially if he plays well. Going to be a lot of eyes on him. Number 3 is Quinn Ewers, and I would actually argue that Ewers is a more controversial prospect right now than Shedeur Sanders is. A little bit skinny, listed at 195, also 21 years old, so good stuff there. We've seen him for two years, really, as a starter. 69.0 completion percentage in 2023, 3,479 yards. Ewers, the numbers look good, got to the college football playoff. I did not put him in our first-round mock draft for a reason. His deep ball is so poor right now. I think it is a deal breaker as a first-round pick. It can get better. I hope it does. But he was not accurate throwing the ball downfield. Straight up was not. In fact, taking out the Bama game where he played very well, hit a couple deep balls, he had some bottom-tier NCAA numbers. 13 of 42, that's under 31%. 467 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. With Xavier Worthy and A.D. Mitchell, 2 of the fastest receivers in the NFL, or in college football. And another early-round pick in J.T. Sanders. And Jonathan Brooks. That supporting cast was loaded. I'm very curious how he fares beyond that. The footwork is bad. I can't stand it. I think that leads to deep ball issues, but footwork's personal. If it works, if the results are better, I'd be fine with it. Results aren't there, I don't like it. It's kind of like a golf swing. Scotty Scheffler's swing works. The footwork is terrible. If he wasn't if he was a bad golfer, I'd be like, dude, you got to change that. But it's really good, so why would I change it? Results aren't there in the same way for Quinn. So will he be a first-round pick? Y for yes, N for no. Go ahead and sound off the pinned comment of today's video, especially if the ad comes on YouTube. Number 4, Jalen Milroe. I think Milroe has the arm strength and the athletic ability to be a very intriguing, maybe even as much as a Bama player can be, underrated prospect. It is still Bama after all. We mentioned Shedeur Sanders taking too many sacks. Jalen, my guy, be better here. His pressure to sack ratio, which can help account for bad offensive line play to an extent, is among the worst in college football. He tends to drift. He will hold the ball too long, won't feel it well. Got to be better, got to process quicker, but has a good deep ball. Want to attack middle field a bit more consistently. Got to take less sacks because sacks are drive killers, folks. Might not be as bad as an INT, but if it's second and 10 and you take a 7-yard sack, your drive's over, and more often than not. Milroe has to be better there. Number 5, I'll make note, Milroe was 39 on the big board. Allar was 61. Drew Allar out of Penn State. And I just, are we sure about this? You know, the touchdown interception ratio stands out to you, right? It's really impressive. I have a rule that so far has only been proven wrong one time. You got to complete 60% of your passes, man. It is college football. Man, you run the Mickey Mouse offense to a T, you can push 70%. You can't complete 60% of your passes. That's a huge red flag for me. So Allar has good size. I think the arm is pretty solid. I mean, he's got great size, actually. He's a big boy. I got to see him be way more consistent down to down before I start thinking, okay, this guy's going to be anything more than just, you know what? We were hoping Brad Kaya was going to take a big step forward. We were hoping Christian Hackenberg was going to take a big step forward. You know, we're hoping this insert, potential first-round pick would end up being bad. Like, Allar could be not good enough for an NFL team. I need to see a lot better play out of him. Now, this is the 2025 class, of course, for QBs. The 2024 class has their rookie jerseys available, unless your name Marvin Harrison, over at chatsports.com/NFL jersey. Link will be in the comments section and the description of today's show. So we'll make sure that link gets in there for you guys. This will take you to a list of all the top-selling NFL jerseys. So you have to search or filter by team because, let's be honest, J.C. Latham jerseys are a little bit lower on the list, but maybe you're a Titans fan. Maybe you want Kool-Aid McKinstry, whatever. You can find it by going to chatsports.com/NFL jersey and then picking a team or sorting. Either way works pretty well, or searching, I should say. Either way ends up working well in the end. Number 6 is Conor Weigman out of Texas A&M. And on one hand, I get it. There are flashes that are there. Man, we are banking on a very small sample size of okay play. Or even good play. Played 9 games, man. I think there is talent there. I think his overall play has been pretty solid. But you've played 9 games. That's it. So to an extent, Weigman kind of stands out as more of a fun wild card, right? 68.9%, 16 career touchdowns, 2 INTs. That intrigues me. He also hasn't played consistently, right? 5 of those touchdowns, especially the ones this year, came against New Mexico. That doesn't do anything for me. Played one SEC team last year, half a game. So he is an absolute wild card as we get to the 2025 class. Number 7 is Dillon Gabriel. Forgot to mention Weigman 62, Gabriel 77. This is Oregon, by the way. PFF hasn't updated for the transfers. I don't get it, whatever. Gabriel's not the biggest guy. And my concern here is that he will just go down as really good college quarterback and just not good enough NFL caliber prospect. Put up great numbers last 2 years for Oklahoma. I think he will thrive as in the Oregon-style offense. I think he does a good job of distributing the football. Hey, he's going to be 25 years old as a first-year player. That's old. Another transfer here is Riley Leonard out of Duke. It was very fun to see him get some, I think, to an extent, justifiable buzz after playing super well against Clemson in 2023 in terms of rushing. Wasn't good as a passer, and that's where he's got to be better at. The rushing is there. The passing consistency is not. The numbers reflect that. I think he will have a great year at Duke. He is only going to be 22 in September, so he's not or at Notre Dame, excuse me. He'll only be 22 in September. I think he'll have a good year for the Fighting Irish. I think maybe more of a day 3 prospect, unless he really, really wows. He's 83 overall on the PFF board. Now, we will have all the NFL draft coverage you could want, so don't miss out. Hit that sub button at youtube.com/chatNFL. Number 9 is Jaxson Dart, part of from an NFL perspective, what Lane Kiffin does is a Mickey Mouse offense. It's not real. It's easy on the quarterback. And that's why I love it for college. It's my old NCAA 14 playbook. We're making it simple. It's good coaching. Tougher for an NFL evaluation standpoint. I think Dart's gotten better every single year of his college career. I still think this is probably more of a day 3 prospect right now, maybe even mid to late day 3, despite being 88th on the PFF board. I'll explain that in a little bit here more in depth. I am glad to see Noah Fifita included on this list. Now, he is undersized, listed at 5'11", 195. He's fun, though. If I have to pick, okay, who's your non-obvious name, day 3 sleeper? Give me Fifita. He's fun. He's running around out there making plays. Got McMillan, the giant wide receiver. I think Arizona's a bit underrated. Curious if the new coaching staff impacts things there. He's 97th overall on the PFF board. Now, the top that's the number 10th ranked player, by the way, is that high. The top 100 quarterback pick record is 8 back in 2021, with most of them being bad, by the way, which is kind of hilarious to think about, that the record for most picks ended up being not a very good batch of options there. It was Zach Wilson and Trey Lance and everything. So you're going, well, okay, then why are there so many QBs in this top 100? PFF only has 125 players done. So that's why I didn't put the overall ranks on there. At this stage, it's kind of like, okay, this is all, guys aren't actual top 100 players. So back to round 1, which I think you kind of get a better feel for just like the top rankings of the top 50-ish, and then how these guys stack together, amongst each other from the same position group. How many QBs go in round 1 of the 2024 NFL Draft? Sound off in the comments section. Number 11 is Cameron Ward. And I'll be honest, I'm a little bit surprised to not see Cam Ward higher. He has had an interesting path to life at where he's at right now, which is the Miami Hurricanes. Spent time the past 2 seasons with the Washington State Cougars, by the way. I thought was better in 2023 than he was in 2022. Before that, was playing some very small school football. He began the year really good in 2023. There was some quiet, because it's Pac-12 bias and stuff. Some quiet, even Heisman consideration. Wow, Ward's playing really well. And then as the Huskies kind of fell apart, or the Cougars, excuse me, sorry, that's going to upset a lot of Washington State fans, kind of struggled. They started the year 4-0. His play kind of really fell off. He had all those 25 passing touchdowns last year, but 13 of those came in the first 4 games. So which Cam Ward do I get? Non-con Cam Ward, or conference play Cam Ward? Going to be a big deal for Miami too, by the way. So who did PFF, if anybody, leave off their quarterback rankings? Go ahead and sound off for me in the comments section of today's show. Some other quarterbacks I want to mention briefly here. Jalen Daniels, fun player for Kansas. He's probably not a top 10 guy. I think Will Howard could be a day 3 pick out of Ohio State. I'm excited to see Avery Johnson, by the way, at Kansas State. I think Byron Brown's your sleeper here. Probably a year away. Made some good plays at South Florida. Don't sleep on him. Probably for 2026, maybe. He is eligible, though. I'll put Cade Klubnik on here because he was a touted recruit, and those guys get a look sometimes. Maybe you could put a Donovan Smith on here, but I don't think he played that well, honestly. Tyler Van Dyke, I want to believe in him, but I wanted to believe in him 2 years ago, and that was 2 years ago. So I'm not sold at this time.